wow, suddenly the BTO prices are so expensive. You know, you have to wait, what, 5-6 years for a BTO. Now, where has that population come from? Of course, it is the influx, it is the immigration. Yeah. And my colleague, Yong Zi Hian, told me a startling stat of statistics only 2 days ago. At the beginning of the pandemic, our population went down from, I think, 5.8 to about 5.4 million. It is now back up to the pre-COVID level of 5.8, all right? And listen to this. He did some maths. Of course, the figures are very opaque, all right? The figures are very opaque. And you have to be a statistician like Leong Zi Hian to be able to work out the figures. Do you know that today, the workforce in Singapore, if you include the PRs and the foreigners, if you just take the PRs and the foreigners, they constitute about 48% of our workforce. Now, if you include the new citizens, and of course, you know, many immigrants over the years have become Singaporeans, right? The figure is a staggering, about 55%. That means half the workforce in Singapore, more than half, 55% of the workforce in Singapore are not local born. Now, my friends, it is very well for the PAP to keep telling us every day how wonderful foreigners and foreign talent are. All right? I have never bought that story. I have never bought that story. And I have never bought their story that these foreigners and foreign talent bring more jobs to Singaporeans. And I can tell you a simple reason. I don't have to rely on statistics or numbers. I live the life of an ordinary Singaporean. And I tell you something, in the last 1 week, I have noticed that the taxi drivers who drive me have become younger and better educated. You know, in 2015, in the general election televised debate, I made a statement that Singapore has the best educated taxi drivers in the world. And that is true. It has even become more true today. I was astounded when 2 days ago, I was in a taxi. The taxi driver could not have been more than 42 to 43 years old. I'm telling you, he spoke immaculate, impeccable English with an Oxford accent. Or some of you would even say with a Queen's accent, or Queen's English. Now, what does that show you? It shows you that this person is a very educated person, must have worked in a very good company, probably an international company, but got retrenched, right? And that's why now he's having to drive a taxi. All right? And Zi Hian told me something recently as well. You know, recently the MOM published the figures, the labor figures for the third quarter. They have not published for the second and the first yet. And why? Why not? But they published the figures for the third quarter of this year. 94% of job growth went to foreigners. That means what? 6% for Singaporeans. For locals, they say. And locals include PRs, eh? I mean, that is the type they barefaced dare to tell Singaporeans foreign talent creates more jobs for Singaporeans. You are not going to fool me when I look at the figures and 94% of the new jobs are going to foreigners. Yeah? I have said this in many forums. I don't care if you call me a racist or xenophobic. I am not. I have lived in many countries around the world. Alright, I have lived for long periods in England, in Indonesia, and other parts of the world.